Batman
Did you hit the
is.
countdown?
Did I? Is that it? Are we starting it? Is that you okay with that?
I,
Like,
I
I think
mean,
this is the podcast, right?
this is like 7 iterations of Batman since that.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I would say from that Batman to this Batman, so much has happened, and we're in completely different places. But this is the movie Propcast, and you are listening to the Batman episode, 2022's Batman with Robert Pattinson. This is the second half of our fan picked episode. Obviously we had both seen this movie before, and we were both hesitant to go back and rewatch it because we knew how long it was and how much of a task that was. And it was,
I
again, I admit it.
so I got to the end of this movie, and I'm shocked that my wife sat through this movie with me because it's not that it by no means is a bad movie.
No,
She has very short patience, and her attention span's relatively low.
that's fair.
So this movie was like Titanic without all of the Titanic stuff. Like this is the Titanic of action movies. It was deep.
Yes. Before we get into, obviously, we're going to get into the prop draft a little bit later, and we're going to go run down our thoughts from the film. We don't want to. It's a long movie. There's a lot to unpack, but we just want to address initially. I think it's a great Batman. I think I was on record, and I think I can pull tape. I was on record about Robert Pattinson being an amazing Batman before, like, when he was initially cast. I had never seen such a stark divide of, this is going to be the worst Batman in the world.
What about Ben Affleck? I feel like he had a pretty big divide. No, this was worse.
This
This is
we're talking
worse.
we're
This is
talking
worse.
Pattinson, and everybody's
Yes.
mind is just a vampire, a sparkly Twilight
Yes.
vampire.
This is except the people who actually watch movies, because he had
True.
a couple of gems in between.
That's true, but like, they don't know that. Like, the
Yeah.
casual moviegoer sees the name Robert Pattinson and just immediately thinks Twilight. And I think
Yes.
that's also, like, if you look at anything that's come from Robert Pattinson since Twilight, he has done everything he can to distance himself from that role and just mainstream Hollywood in general. Like, he's just wants to be a good actor and work on projects without the, I don't know, the it's just, there's so much.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of, like, it's the opposite of, like, why would you want to be Batman and also have that? I don't know.
Yeah.
The timing there is fine. Like, I mean, obviously there's like decades between Twilight and this Batman movie. So yeah, he had a great run of good movies, but they don't know that. The casual moviegoer sees it. They're mad that
Yeah.
we just got Edward Cullen as Batman.
We need to actually pull up that video you did, because I remember it from last year or the year before.
It was like 2020 when they first released, like, the trailer, because they didn't finish the trailer. The trailer wasn't finished, but they had shots filmed, and whatever they had filmed from the movie, they just, like, decided to throw it together and just put it out. And I was like, dude, this is it. Like, this is gonna be really, really good. I feel like people are really sleeping on Robert Pattinson, and I think that was the deal.
I'm just mainly harping on the fact that you came on with eye paint on.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you did your whole bet. You threw your hat in the ring.
I know. I'm a little upset. That I didn't do that today. But I remember trying to get it off afterwards. Awful. I don't know how, it was the worst time. I don't like anything around my eyes, so that was a bad time. Eye makeup, not for me. But I think that's another thing, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the film as well. But, like, the realism of this movie, like, it was really grounded, and you're kind of like, okay, I could see this, like,
Yeah.
except for and I will say there was one moment where I was like, I don't think a human being could have survived that. But
Yeah, I mean, I would say two to three moments. But,
yeah. But again,
no,
it's a superhero film, but I'd say it's the most grounded in reality I've ever seen a Batman.
I was thinking about this as I was finishing the movie. So Christian Bale was a great Batman. He was a Batman for action movie fans and for action movies, where Robert Pattinson's Batman felt like a Batman for comic book fans and fans of the Batman. They were both great movies in different ways, but the way they did the acting, the way they portrayed Bruce, the way they portrayed the Batman, they were trying to appeal to different audiences, and I think they both did a good job doing that.
Yeah, I think with Batman movies are so easy to mess up, right? Like
Yeah.
if you get one thing wrong, you've lost an entire fan base, like you said, comic book viewers or just people who are just in general like movie fans. If you're not doing Batman justice all the way through, and I think this movie did that in a
Mhm.
different way. Like you look at the runtime, it's a 3 hour Batman movie, right? And you're
Yeah.
like trying to figure out I don't know. It's weird because usually a movie that's 3 hours, especially a superhero movie, you get to the end and you're like, oh my god, it's already over.
Yeah.
This movie was good, but it also felt like a 3 hour movie though. Like I don't know,
Yes.
and it sounds disrespectful. I don't want to be disrespectful. It was good. It just like it was slow.
I think for me, it was the action was a lot more sparse. Like when you look at the Batman with Bane and the Joker, there are a lot more action points where this movie had a lot more detective. Like this was detective Batman.
Yeah.
So there was a lot more of like plot and talking and solving mysteries and all of that stuff. And there wasn't a lot to get your adrenaline running.
Yeah, I guess the one thing this movie probably could have been 2 hours had they just I mean listen, it's not even just the detective work. It's everybody's movements.
Yeah.
Everybody's speaking was
Yeah.
so slow that I
Hmm.
think if you just even in editing, if you took the footage and just upped it to 2 times speed, it'd be normal talking. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't want to. I don't. Again, we always start these episodes with a few gripes, and
Yeah.
I want to hit a few of them. Obviously,
Yeah.
that's my biggest gripe from this film is like the slow and it does put you in you are kind of immersed, right? You're like there's a
Yeah. It's
lot of
drama.
time to like put yourself in and you're in the moment, and it's like there can be some contentious moments, but it was very slow and like they're whispering and like they're literally just moving like they're in like
You don't like soap
sludge.
operas, do you? You don't like
No,
daytime soaps?
no, sir.
General
No, my
Hospital, Days of Our
no.
Lives? No,
My
none of
mom,
that?
my mom used to watch them all the time, and I'd be on the couch playing my Game Boy, and I'd look up and I'd be like, "What is this? What is
She
happening?"
probably would love the Batman.
Probably, yeah. It's probably your favorite
She would
movie.
love the Batman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know, like you said, there is a lot of detective work, and I think that obviously because of the Riddler in this movie, Paul Dano was really good. I mean, like, and again, it's Batman, and it's like the whole thing is like his villains kind of make the movie.
Mhm.
But I feel like this was because this was the first iteration of this Batman. There was a good balance of like we have a really good villain, and he's it doesn't that's the comic book part. Like you're trying to think as like it's the Riddler. Like immediately you're like, this is not Jim Carrey's Riddler, right?
No.
This is not a fun, like over the top crazy person. This is an actual murderer. Like
Yeah.
that was kind of the scary part. Like it was really weird to just see just cold blood murders right out
What
the gate.
what scared me too was sort of like the Bane effect too, where he gets a following on the internet. Like he finds a bunch of disgruntled people, like
Oof, yeah.
anyone who could be charismatic and get a willing army of people to do bad things with them. That is scary. Like
Yeah,
that is not
and
good.
that's 100% what would happen. You know what I mean? That's like
Yeah.
that's a thing that happens, especially with the internet nowadays. It's like I don't know. It's super weird. Like you could see all this happening, but it's also like kind of hard to relate. Like you said, like this is grounded in reality, but it's also trying to figure out like what is Gotham? Like Gotham is like this weird enigma of like what year is it? Because like the cars and
Mhm.
everything, and it's like it's always got that like vibe of just that's Gotham, and I think that is like the Batman animated series and like the comics, they have that vibe where it's like it's just like this weird city like locked in time. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's strange. I really like
It's
that they were able to do that in the film, though. I thought that was cool.
it's so weird that a city with so many rich people could also feel so poor at the same time. Like even where the rich people live still looks run down, where you
Right.
would like expect like they look like $1 million skyscrapers, but that were also made hundreds of years before. So it was kind of Gotham is weird, is
Yeah.
what I'm getting at. It's a weird version in New York to me.
So let's talk villains real quick. Obviously, we just mentioned Riddler. Paul Dano's really good. Like he just looks like a serial killer in general. Like if just
Come
take a
on.
picture of him.
Come
Okay,
on.
listen, I know Paul Dano real life, fine. Like, but when he's unmasked at the end, especially at the end when you're just seeing him just sit there with his glasses, dude looks like he's got like school shooter vibes, which is like it's really
Yes.
weird. Like he's definitely
So what you're saying is he is very good at portraying what
Yes.
a serial killer would
Yes.
look
I'm
like.
not saying
Yeah.
Paul Dano's a murderer. I'm saying
Okay. Okay.
he's very good at portraying it. I was reading some background. Apparently, when he was cast for this role, he was he would read serial killers like
Oh
stories about
God.
serial killers, and like he was getting in depth and like trying to figure out like what the psyche of a serial killer. But there's a specific note that said he would only read this stuff in public places because it was just like he couldn't do it. Like if you were by yourself reading that stuff, like it was like toxic
Oh,
for your lifestyle. So
I'm
yeah,
sure that's what happened with
Heath
Heath
Ledger.
Ledger.
Yeah,
My goodness,
that's
I
wild.
I stumbled on that. That was
No, it's
bad.
fine. I mean, obviously
Yeah,
that's an unfortunate like
yeah,
like there's a whole lot of stuff going on. I don't really like the true crime like if
yeah.
Jeffrey Dahmer series right now on
Yeah,
Netflix. I'm not touching that with the 10-foot pole. I'm not
yeah,
going there because it's not a horror series.
yeah.
It's literally chronicling real murders that happen. I'm not touching that with the 10-foot pole. There's no way you can come away with that and be like, man,
I
I'm
feel
so
better.
happy I watched that.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm a better I'm
no,
better off for watching that.
I don't
No,
want to watch that. And I
yeah,
know I wouldn't want to read up on all that stuff. Like that's very, and you got to kind of got to do that to get yourself in that mindset. But it's definitely a dangerous place to put yourself in. So yeah, kudos to him for keeping himself grounded and like leveled, by balancing it with other people around. So you're like, okay, I'm still here. Like I'm out in public. I'm not in this lifestyle. So yeah, I couldn't be an actor in that scenario where you got to get into the role and you're like, no, I don't want to touch that.
yeah. I agree.
Who else do we got? Penguin. Colin Farrell is Penguin in this movie.
Colin Farrell at this point is on a roll. Like him masking up for Penguin, like getting into the fat suit and everything. He was Grindelwald in the Harry Potter series around this. Like he had another role where like he's transforming himself for these roles right now. And Colin Farrell, I got it in my mind, he was always like the SWAT guy, the Miami
Yeah,
Vice guy. He was like he was the action movie guy, and now he's being like the actor. And I'm thoroughly impressed with Colin Farrell.
he's really good. And obviously, if you saw him, if you didn't know he was in this movie and you just watched this movie, you would not recognize him. You wouldn't even.
Not
I
at
mean,
all.
it's crazy that the prosthetics that he's wearing, and he's really good as Penguin. And I think there's a lot of moments in this movie where you feel like, all right, everybody's going down, and he just like at the end, he's still hanging around. Like, and I think that's awesome because you can see it's going to carry over to future films. Whenever they make, obviously they've already announced the sequel. If you haven't heard, they have a sequel coming. They're working on it. I don't know. We don't know what's going to come from it, but the Penguin's going to be somebody that's a mainstay throughout, and I think that's something that lacks in a lot of superhero films where it's kind of like introduce the villains and dispose of the villains in one movie.
Yeah.
So the carryover kind of makes it feel like you're in a universe and it's like this is real. Like I
And
like that.
I like that he is very clearly a villain, but like Batman's like this isn't my fight right now. Like
Right.
you're a bad guy and I'm coming to get you, but you get a pass right now because someone's murdering people. You're selling drugs, but someone's murdering people, and I need to solve that right now.
Yeah, that's
And
really cool. Yeah.
I like that they did a lot of good things with relationships in this movie. We'll get to that once you get to those people, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
good relationships.
It's a very realistic vibe too because you can't, especially I mean Batman, as much as he would want to take everybody down immediately, but like he's got to be or
Yeah.
tactical. Like he's probably one of the only superheroes that would do that, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to, it's pick your battles and know your fight, and like that's throughout this whole movie. That's what he's doing. Is just at the end goal is figure out, well, who controls the city, but really it's the Riddler that's pulling all the strings to get everybody to kind of uncover it. But it was I thought that was really good how they did introduce a lot of characters, and they all intertwined in a way that didn't feel clunky. Like I guess
Yeah.
that's why it was 3 hours, right? It had to be 3 hours long to do all of that, but yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's worth it. Like it is a great Batman film, and I guess the question is, there's a couple. I guess there's two questions, right? That you have to when you watch a Batman movie and you're trying to talk about it and review it. Where does this Batman movie rank for you, and where does Robert Pattinson as Batman rank for you? Those are the two biggest questions.
Robert Pattinson is I need to see him in another Batman. Right now he's number 2.
That's fair.
I would say Christian Bale. Oh, I forgot Michael Keaton. which
Hmm.
is yeah, he might be number three because it might be like Christian Bale, Michael Keaton, Robert Pattinson, Ben Affleck. As much as I love George Clooney and as much as I love
Come on, man. Don't
Val
do Clooney.
Kilmer. As much as the thing is, those movies came out. Excuse me, I'm a
Yeah.
little. I got a cold, so my voice is. Those movies came out at a time I was 10. I was like 8 to 14 years old. I loved the hell out of those movies because they were what I was. They were funny and they were enjoyable. So at now, yes, as an adult, those movies were not great. When I was a kid, they were awesome. I loved George Clooney. I loved Uma Thurman. I loved Chris O'Donnell. So they're awesome.
Right. Well, yeah, so
But
that's what's tough is like your tastes are going to change. Obviously, when you're a
yeah,
kid, those are awesome. That's like hit all the
yeah,
boxes, right? Like it's like over the top crazy zaniness, but like the villains were in, you know what I mean? Like it was fun, and I still think that there's merit to that, but it is just like it's going to be what your tastes are now, and that's how you're going
yeah.
to wind up ranking it. I would not be opposed. Like I think Robert Pattinson has the potential to overtake number one, and I know Christian Bale is really good.
Mm.
I think he is the number one spot, but it's almost like it feels obligatory, right? Because of the crazy success of The Dark Knight and Heath Ledger and as the Joker, like that movie is going to be so hard to top
Hmm.
forever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
What I don't want to do is weight that into his Batman performance. I'm not saying he was a bad Batman, but I'm saying he's not. It's not insurmountable. Like he can
oh
be
no, by no
surpassed.
means. And the only reason why he's number one right now is because Michael Keaton's came 30 years before him. Like if we give Michael Keaton what Christian Bale had, I think Michael Keaton is probably a better Batman than Christian Bale. I'm only saying this because Michael Keaton's a good friend of mine. Michael, if you're
Oh
listening,
yeah, close
I don't, I
personal
don't want to,
friends.
I don't want to disappoint you
That's
because
fair.
Michael Keaton is Batman, but like I think Christian Bale luckily had a head start on Michael Keaton in that
Yeah,
aspect.
and again, every iteration has they can go back and look at what everybody else has done and
Yeah.
just and do it a little better, do it a little differently, and put their own spin on it. And I think that's only going to be like okay. So Ben Affleck as Batman, I feel like got a bad rap.
And I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. Like if you watch, oh, I'm blanking right now. If you watch the animated series Batman vs Superman, he did a great job of being the older,
Yeah,
grizzled. I very much enjoyed the older, grizzled Bruce Wayne. He didn't take himself too seriously. He had moments of humor. Like Ben Affleck was a passable, very good Batman. I enjoyed him as Batman.
yeah. I don't think he was bad at all. I did think he's easy to poop on because he's Ben Affleck, and I feel like that's
Yeah.
just that just is going to come with the territory.
Yeah.
But I think there's not really been like a truly horrible Batman, right? Like
No.
other than like I'd say probably the worst is George Clooney. I'm just gonna say it.
You're gonna say he was worse than Val Kilmer?
Probably. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, you're flipping a coin, right? Like those are the two
Yeah.
like one-offs that are like, whatever. But I think Robert Pattinson, and we can move on from this. But as far as Batman's, I think Robert Pattinson can. If the next follow-up film, there was teases of the Joker right at the end of that, and I
Yes.
know you don't. The Batman doesn't always need the Joker to be great. He's
No.
got so many good villains, but it really helps. Like it helps the
Oh, it does.
movie. Yeah.
I need a good Robin story. Chris O'Donnell was great. That was good.
Yes.
But we've gone too many years, like them teasing the Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the
That and
what are
then
we
just
calling him?
never touching it.
JGL, JGL.
Yeah, yeah,
If they I wish, speaking of which, I'm a big fan. Go back to Inception. Anyway,
yeah,
JGL, him as Robin would have been amazing. Even him as like a young taking the mantle Batman would have been great. I wish that they can merge timelines and get him back in, but he's a little older at this point.
yeah, yeah.
But
I
I
so
want a
yeah.
good Robin storyline.
So when I was reading up on this, they were trying to figure out what to do for future sequels, and I think that obviously every time you start a franchise, it's like trilogy, right? We're going
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. We're going to do 3 movies. I think that that's what their plan is for this one as well. They did mention they mentioned they wanted to do they were talking about doing some sort of Robin storyline, which I think a Robin
Okay.
introduction at some point would be great. I agree, we do need Robin, and I felt like I wrote down in this movie that there was a point in the very beginning where, and I know it's a stretch, right? It's a very big stretch, but the prolonged eye contact and the relatability of it kind of made me wonder. In the beginning of the movie, the mayor dies, right? It was the mayor that gets murdered right away, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's done, and his son is
Yeah.
there, and he's saying like on the way out, Robert Pattinson or Batman, I say Robert Pattinson, Batman's staring at him for a very long time, and I know it's because he can relate to that, right?
Yeah.
His
He
parents
sees
murdered,
himself.
yeah, so
Yeah.
he sees a lot of himself right there. But there was such a long, like there was such a long shot on this kid. I'm wondering, right?
That
And
would be good.
is that like a potential Robin right there? I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I know Robin's story is totally different than that, but
The thing
not
is,
totally different, but
it's very different, but Batman's story, like we don't have Batman who went to Asia and trained in martial arts. Like we have Batman who Alfred said, I could only teach you so much.
that's another thing, right?
Like we don't have the traditional Batman storyline, so we don't need the traditional Robin storyline either.
I feel like we're missing something there, though. Like, isn't that such like an integral part of
What?
Batman in general?
Yes,
It's
it
like I don't
is.
think Alfred training Bruce Wayne how to fight is going to create this monster. Like,
Yes.
there's something more we're missing, and I don't think we've seen it yet. I mean,
Because like a regular human, like now we're getting to comic book stuff. A regular human trained to fight will be, or even trained, because Alfred, I think, in some lore is like a really good boxer or something like that. Like a regular human trained to fight by another regular human is going to be a good fighter, but won't be able to take on 8 guys and
no.
withstand the harm and damage that Batman did. Someone who went and was trained by assassins and tortured to some degree can take being shot, can take being electrocuted, can take all the stuff that Batman takes in this movie and still get up and fight. Like I'm going to jump ahead. He
Yeah,
gets
go for it. Yeah.
blasted with a shotgun
Oh my God. Yeah.
and he is not immediately unconscious. He manages to shoot himself with what I'm assuming is epinephrine or adrenaline. It looks a little like the Bane serum, but we'll get to that later. And he's back on his feet. Like he beats the hell out of this guy, and then immediately he's normal again. And I'm like, all right, Batman, I would expect that from, but not this Batman who hasn't gone through the same hardships. He's gone through some hard stuff.
But we don't know that though. That's what I'm saying. Like the only reference to his past is what Alfred said, that he could teach him how to fight. Like there's a bigger disconnect. Like I feel like he taught him how to fight, and then he went somewhere to do something. There's got to be more training somewhere. I feel like that's such
young,
an important.
though.
How young? I mean, like we're talking. It's year 2 Batman. He doesn't become Batman until he's gone away. You know what I mean?
True.
He goes away, comes back, becomes Batman.
Yeah, I did like. Did I write that? I like that. Yeah, the Detective Gordon thing. He says like we've been friends 2 years or something like that, or 2 years in. I like that they did a good job of trying to jump us in early and not give us the repetitive. Oh, he's a kid. His parents die. Here's the coming up story. Like they added the little breadcrumbs that
I thought it was
to plant
I don't know if it was like tongue in cheek at the beginning of this film, and I know it's the Riddler that does the murdering. But at the beginning of this film, on first watch, were you just like, oh my God, we're about to watch his parents die again? Like I thought that was Batman.
Yes.
And
yes.
I thought that was Bruce Wayne's parents. And I'm like, were you really going to watch these guys die again? Like, I don't know. But that was it was a subtle little like switcheroo, but it wasn't.
They took good notes from what Spider-Man did.
Yeah. We don't need that story a 8th time. You know what I mean? We get it. We understand. And okay, so real quick, talking about sequels, I know they expressed interest in introducing Robin, and they also want to try to. These are just names they were throwing out. They want to feature the Court of Owls, Calendar Man, Mr. Freeze, or Hush as villains in a potential sequel.
I don't know much about Calendar Man.
So I don't either. That was a very. I have no idea what that is.
The Court of Owls, I know.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mr. Freeze, we know. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, it has to be him when he comes back, right? That's got to be it.
Hush does not sound familiar to me either, so that would be interesting. The Court of Owls that's something they've literally never touched, so that would be really nice.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to look up Calendar Man. This is probably not something I should be doing on the podcast, but no. These are names. If you're a Batman fan, you might know a little more than us. So yeah, I mean, just be on the lookout in the sequels. I mean, I'm always down for touching on characters that don't get touched on a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
I'm just picturing Calendar Man being like an advent calendar. Like he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna hint you towards this day because something bad might happen.
Yeah,
right? Like I don't know.
Like how do you ground? That'd be really. He's just a guy with a calendar that says over here. It's like a voodoo calendar.
Yeah.
Over here, you're gonna stub your toe and not be
Yeah.
able to. Yeah, no, that's people.
uh,
People who are listening who know who it is. They're like, "You guys are idiots."
yeah.
No, we're just messing around,
And
obviously.
the
So
funny thing is, I'm a big comic book guy. Like, get me on any other topic, but DC is kind of my blind spot. I'm a very big comic book guy, so it's just funny. Something that helped this Batman, though, for me, I don't want to get too far from this note. The vibe early on, like we get the gritty vibe. Yes, we know DC likes to go gritty, but something they did with this Batman that I think was better done than Christian Bale's was the narration. I felt like it was Rorschach in The Watchmen, or very close to that, and I felt like it added more to Robert Pattinson's than Christian Bale's, because Christian Bale did get some narration, but I just felt like I could connect this narration to Batman better than Christian Bale's to his Batman.
yeah, and I guess with the slow pace, it definitely works, right?
Yeah.
It still falls under that. I don't. It'd be tough to kind of shoehorn some of that into the more like you said, there wasn't a whole lot of action. Like when it happened, it was cool and it was cinematic, but it wasn't. There was time for a lot of narration, and there was also a time for a lot of talking, which there was in this film. So, yeah, I agree. I think it definitely made it made it its own unique type thing, and it did feel like a little more comic booky. Like that was that. I think that's my favorite part about this film is like you're seeing a Batman that you haven't really seen. Like Batman's supposed to be the world's greatest detective, right? And in
Yes.
this film, he is pretty good, right? He like actually gets to analyze a crime scene and like and do stuff like that. I think that we didn't see a whole bunch of that in previous iterations, and I thought well, especially in the trailer when you initially saw it, I was like, oh my god, they're actually going to do this. They're actually going to
Yeah.
be like, oh shoot, he can break down a crime scene better than anybody. Like we're going to
Yeah.
get some of that, and we got it in this film. So
We got that, and I like the Gotham Project journals that he had too. Like he's keeping deep notes on
yeah.
everything he does every single day,
Dude,
and
yeah.
that's
Obviously, we'll get into some stuff in the draft, but
yeah,
yeah, there's some technology that I was like, oh man, that'd be pretty sick.
yeah,
But anyway, one thing and I can say this before we get into the draft. I think in every other Batman, I would say movie in general, we got a lot of like cape action, right?
yeah.
This was the most useless cape in Batman history in this
He didn't
film.
even distract people. Like even at minimum, like I recall, I don't remember which Batman, but they'll like throw it up to like disorient people, or they'll make it a
Useless.
bulletproof cape
It
or
was
something
actually a
like that.
deterrent, actually, because there was a time he's being dragged by it at the end
Yeah.
of the film. This is the worst cape in Batman history, and I don't think he
Well,
needs it.
if you watch Incredibles, no capes.
Right,
Like
100%. That's every time I see a superhero with a cape, that's what I think of, right? It's like on that scene, and I'm like, capes, no, you're gonna get sucked up into a jet engine.
yeah.
But he doesn't need it in this film. Like I feel like that kind of sucks because the cape is like one of his biggest. That's Batman, right? He's got the cape. Like not a lot of
Mhm.
people have the cape, and I think he utilizes it more than anything. But maybe that's something in future movies that we'll see a little more involved. But it's really just a tarp on his back, right? At this point.
Yeah, I feel like if in the fight scenes he just did like one or two like misdirections with the cape, it'd be fine. Well, not
Right.
even that it'd be fine, but it would be like, okay, it has a use. Right now, like you said, it doesn't, because he didn't even use it as like a glider, because he had a full
No, you got a
glider.
wingsuit.
Yeah,
You
he
got a
had a wingsuit.
wingsuit. Dude, that's
So
awesome.
like,
That's the American dream, and I don't know if it's American a dream, but I know it would
it's
would
illegal.
100% kill me,
Yeah.
but just to put on a wingsuit and jump off a high ledge, that just seems like that would be amazing. Like that 20 seconds before you splat into a wall would be amazing. I don't know what it is. Wingsuits are so fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Just I don't know the flying squirrel aspect.
We broke down key characters. We didn't actually touch on Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. What are your
Yes,
thoughts?
I thought she was really good. I mean, it's you're waiting for like I don't know. At least me with Catwoman, especially if you played video games and everything, you're waiting for like a big turn where she's
Yes.
just like, "All right, I'm done. I'm gonna save you." We didn't really get that with her. I felt like she was actually like kind of there, like she
I
was like
enjoyed
involved.
that.
Yeah,
Like normally there's always that moment where you're like, oh my god, this woman, like, stop looking out for yourself. Yes, you have past trauma, whatever. They were able to kind of put their past traumas together and heal over that. Obviously, I don't understand a love story spawning over the course of 5 days between two very scarred people, but
yes,
I'm
their
also
mouths were very close to each other a lot, and I know that they did
yes,
actually kiss a couple. Like, was it once? Might have been once,
twice,
almost twice. I don't know.
twice, I think.
Yeah, it was really weird. Like, I was especially the initial like when he's putting that contact in her eyes and he's looking at her. He's like, "Look at me."
Yeah.
It looks good. Like, what was that? Come on, man. What are you doing there?
She was good, and I liked, if you notice in the fight, the first like fightish scene that they have where she's breaking into the safe, she does this like really weird, not weird, very cool thing. Because obviously, if you're Catwoman, you have to portray yourself cat-ish, and Halle Berry might have done it too much.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah. We're not
yeah,
going to talk about Halle
but
Berry's Catwoman, please.
but like she did a good job of like giving cat-like qualities to where she was stealthy and sleek, but she was still a normal person who wasn't a crazy cat lady trying to be a cat. She
Yeah.
like embodied like the traits, and I don't know if that was being directed that way by the director or just her doing it, but I could see her, and even if she wasn't in the suit, even in normal clothing, like she gave off very like catty type vibes.
Right. And I think that's one thing, especially when she was like initially, when he's peeping Tomming her like a weirdo. And she changes into her outfit, and then she just jumps out into the fire escape and does like a little flip. I'm like waiting for some sort of like superhuman thing. She felt pretty decent. I mean, she landed it and she was moving. I mean, obviously that could just be gymnast stuff, but whatever.
Yeah.
So the whole time in this movie, I'm waiting for some superhuman. You know what I mean? Because it's Batman. You're like, who's gonna be the one, right? And
Yeah.
there's not really anybody in this movie that does that. But you move forward into other, like Mr. Freeze. I guess that doesn't have to be superhuman either. He could literally just have a freeze gun or something. But
Hmm.
that I don't know. We're gonna have to get into some sort of like super something, right? Like somebody's gonna have some powers. I don't know how we're gonna get there, but we're gotta get there.
I think the thing with Batman is Mr. Freeze might be the close. Like if even if we go Bane, it could just be a guy on steroids. Like it doesn't have to be
Yeah,
crazily. Because I think there are versions of Banes that aren't monster. Like I mean, the Bane we had before wasn't even that superhuman.
that's true. Yeah, he really wasn't. He wasn't like juiced. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he
He wasn't
wasn't
like
like
ripped.
Luchador Bane. Like he did a
Comic
good
book
job.
Bane, unreal.
Yes.
Like what is that?
Yeah,
I mean,
we
obviously it's
don't.
the comics, but yeah.
So I don't know. We will get some superhuman stuff because I'm sure they're gonna try to bridge this Batman with Ben Affleck not in the DCEU anymore. I'm sure they're gonna try to
And
bridge
that's
this.
I'm
Hmm.
trying to think. I'm trying to think. Like this Flash movie coming out. I don't know what they're planning on doing, and I'm scared for this franchise if
I
that's their plan. I mean, I think the Flash is one of my favorite characters of all time. I think he's
Yes, easily.
probably he might be the strongest superhero in existence if
Yeah,
you based off of what the man can do.
yeah.
Ezra Miller though, I don't know what's on. I don't know what's up
Well,
with him. I don't know.
that's something we're gonna have to research and talk about because I know that was hitting a lot of speed bumps. That was hitting
Yes,
a crazy ton of speed bumps. I thought for some reason I could be making this. I thought the movie was getting completely halted at this point.
they're still going. They're doing reshoots right now, still with Ezra Miller. So like they're finishing this movie. Reshoots might be encouraging though to figure out what how do you can't recast the Flash that's doing Flashpoint though. That's literally not how that works, right?
But he could die during filming and get recast because that's very much just go from Barry to Wally or something along those lines.
Yeah, you could introduce another one, but imagine doing this Flashpoint. Like Flashpoint is probably one of my favorite series,
Oh,
like in
it's so
comics
good.
and just the movie, like the animated movie is amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
How are you gonna do that? And then just trash the one that accomplishes all that. Like I don't know. That's gonna be really weird. And what I'm worried about is that universe, which is fine if they wanted to. I just don't want these two to touch. I really don't. I don't know why. I don't want this. I don't want Robert Pattinson and this iteration of Batman and this Gotham and this universe to touch all that.
I completely agree. It's weird. We want like I like where it is in this small little pocket universe because
Yes.
at one point we thought we were gonna have a Ben Affleck and a Robert Pattinson at the same time, which is really weird. So we thought maybe this would go one way, that would go another way, and they would tell separate stories. It's sort of like how Venom was going while Spider-Man was going, and the two never looked like they were gonna touch ever.
Yeah.
So if this Batman stays solo, I don't mind it. Or maybe they spawn a separate universe where this Batman has his own Flash, his own Superman, his own stuff, and that. But that would confuse a lot of people.
That would be really weird. I thought I was very excited before all the Ezra Miller stuff that they were going to approach the Flashpoint stuff to
Yeah,
kind of reset everything and realign everything. Sure, maybe Henry Cavill is out, whatever. Do what you need to do, reset it to get it where you want it. And that was like literally that's the ripcord they could have always pulled. I'm worried that they had to pull it, right? Like obviously you didn't want to
yeah.
have to pull it. Like ideally you
Not
just
this
get it
early.
right. Right. Yeah. So who knows what's going to come from that movie? I think it's going to be a lot of fan service. There's going to
Yes,
be a lot of like every iteration of every DC superhero probably touching in that movie, which is going to be kind of cool to watch. But I just
that
don't know
would.
what the end result's going to be, and if it sucks in this Batman, uh, the Joker that we just recently had. I don't know. Like what's off limits?
Things I need to see. If I we're getting on a tangent. Things I
No,
need to
it's
see
fine.
that
I
would
mean, it's
make
the
me happy.
Batman. Like this is where we're
True.
at.
Things that would make me happy. Do the Flashpoint. Outcomes I want. Henry Cavill stays. Gal Gadot stays. Ben Affleck, obviously he's gone. He could stay or he could go. He's an older Batman. I don't mind bringing this Robert Pattinson. Ezra Miller goes.
How?
Um,
I just don't know how that happens. That's
Barry, Wally, Bart. That's all
I
I'm
know
gonna
there's so
say.
many of them. I know. It's gonna be weird.
That's just it. Um, and then I obviously Cyborg is out. They have already filmed stuff with Green Lantern, John Stewart. Aquaman can stay. Um, I
Didn't we
had
get a Martian Manhunter teaser at the end of
we did. We got Martian
Martian
Manhunter,
Manhunter is amazing, and I want him to be done right. Like I'd be happy to get some Martian
and
Manhunter.
he was played by someone great, so that was good. So we
Yeah,
got Martian Manhunter. They actually swapped out Martian Manhunter for Green. They had Green Lantern stuff filmed,
yeah.
but because they were doing a Green Lantern TV show, they took it out because they're doing a TV show based on not Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner? I think Guy
I don't know.
Gardner.
I don't
They're
know.
doing a
We're
TV show
down.
based
Yeah,
on Guy Gardner. They had John Stewart filmed for the movie, took it out. So we know we have John Stewart. Those are things that I would like. And that would make me happy because I loved Henry Cavill as Superman. He was
yeah.
great.
But the thing is, I don't know. I don't know if that relationship's salvageable at this point, from what I understand.
Yeah, I know.
I as much as we'd love to see him, he literally was the perfect Superman. I don't really love what they did with him in a lot of those movies. I mean, the movies were good.
Hmm.
He could have been great if he it just
They
was.
they were still trying to find themselves, and it sucks. They had the
Yeah,
perfect person at the wrong time.
yeah. That's fair.
They
100%.
they really did.
Any notes before we get into the draft? We got to get into the draft here, but I mean, a
Do we
couple.
really like? I
I
want to
know
do
it's a
this all
3 hour movie. I know there's a lot to digest, but I
day.
think we'll touch on a lot of it whenever we're going through these props because there's so many props from this movie, and I think
True.
are we gonna we'll decide on a number on the other side. But I mean, any other last notes? I know we didn't talk about it, but John Torturo as
Yes.
Carmine Falcone. Anything
Interesting.
Torturo's in, I'm all in for it. I
The
love this
thing
guy.
is, I've never seen him in this kind of role before.
Right, right. It's hard to take him seriously, especially after the Transformers. We did Transformers on the way back. If you can listen to that one too, but it is weird to see him in that role. But it works. Like he's just like he's serious, but he also is like probably one of the more playful people. Right? It's just weird.
Yeah.
Like it's. I mean,
I
that's
actually
yeah.
I didn't do it at the top of the line. This is the second John movie that we have, Turturro.
That's fair.
I definitely completely forgot to do that. I he was great. He was a good villain. I like seeing him in more serious roles. I wouldn't mind seeing him in a lot more serious roles.
Yes. Two more things I want to touch on real quick. I know this is when we scramble for the draft because we want to get to it. By the way, I have first pick. Suck it.
Really?
Yeah, no. The TV program, whoever's the broadcasting news agency in Gotham, I don't know how they do it there, but I can guarantee you in the real world, we're not showing hostage videos on national
No.
TV. The amount of times they said, "Hey, and we've got the footage. We're about to go live to it. It's very graphic in nature. Here you go." And it's a dude that's like on a death trap. Like what? No one's showing that on TV.
Yeah.
What is
No,
this? Like it's
not at all.
ridiculous. That's yeah. I don't know what they were doing on the TV channel. The news director's like, just throw it on there. The guy just got murdered. Give it to it.
One note I do want to make. I would like also in the future a Commissioner Gordon who can still fight. Because that was something in the comics. Commissioner Gordon, though old, still could handle himself.
He's got a
little
gun,
bit.
bro. What do you need?
He could handle himself a little bit. So I want to see a Gordon who could get down a little bit. I loved this Gordon. I love this relationship.
The relationship's
Gordon was
awesome. Yeah, I love that.
100% in Batman's, like he was like, do you trust anyone in the police? And Gordon was like, I
No.
trust you.
Yeah,
Like
that's-
that right there made the movie for me. That relationship, 100%, I'm down.
Yeah, I love it. That's great. I don't know what I think I had one more note. I just want to check it. Let me look my. Oh, I don't know if we need to get into this. Yeah, but at the end of the movie, the massive flooding. Obviously, you get to that point. It's hard to under an hour do a podcast and talk about a 3-hour movie. But the levees are blown up by the Riddler, right? This mass flooding, and it's like catastrophic. Obviously, that's like the whole city's now underwater. That's crazy to me, just comprehending all that. For Gotham, though, like even if I'm in it and I live, I'm like, is that a negative? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like you might come out a little cleaner, right? Like you might come out a little better after that.
That might. Well, what do you mean? One more time before I get into my idea about that.
I'm saying, obviously, the mass deaths, and the amount of death aside, obviously it's horrible and it's going to probably kill a lot of people. But
yes,
for Gotham, though, it's like maybe they needed this little washout because they're going to come out and rebuild and be maybe a little better on the other side.
I think metaphorically, like Batman and Selena harps on this. She says, like, he says Gotham can change, and she said it won't. And metaphorically, something, once it's too far gone, you might have to just burn it down and start over from the ashes. And I think metaphorically, like, completely washing out Gotham probably would be the thing to do it. But the right people have to be in place once you're on the other side, and that's what his next fight is. Like,
right.
Gotham
his perspective does change at the end of the film too, where he's like, I'm not just going to be vengeance. I'm not just going to be like hiding in the shadows and beating people up. Like, I need to be at the forefront and like be a symbol. And I think he's finally like put his past aside. You know what I mean? Like his anger about his past. And maybe now he can be a little something more. I think that's a cool thing, and hopefully we actually see that translated to the next movies where maybe he is a little more upbeat. Maybe there is a little more like Bruce Wayne. Can we get a Bruce Wayne that doesn't look like a haggard, like I don't know. He just looks like a homeless dude.
We got a lot of Batman. I would love to see more Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. I think maybe that's something they're setting up, is like he can now try to find a balance now that he's not completely consumed by Batman and that role. Yeah. Maybe he can find a balance to find a way to be good on both fronts. I think that's cool. If that's where they go with it, that's going to be really cool. I think
to our earlier argument, that right there is why Christian Bale has a higher ranking than me. Christian Bale was a great Bruce Wayne on top of a good Batman. He was now that I'm thinking about it, his Bruce Wayne was excellent. So
I agree with that. 100%. So yeah, like you said, we haven't seen it from Pattinson yet, and well, we have, but it was gross. Like, we got to see him in like the real Bruce Wayne. If we can see that in a future film, he definitely has the opportunity to at least compete for the #1 Batman spot.
Yeah.
Let's get to the draft. We got a lot, just a whole bunch. Oh, there's a lot of stuff in a superhero movie. So how this is going to work, I will have first pick because you had first pick on the last episode, Superbad, and you totally demolished me. I think I'm on record. Yes, there, I said it.
Thank you.
It's not a competition, but it is for us. Like,
anymore?
It's like,
when you threw this podcast idea, and I talked about this like 2 or 3 pods ago, you made it sound like we were competing. Like there was going to be like who won.
I think it'll come soon whenever we get our little social media going a little better. We'll see comparisons of movies, and we'll see all the props, and I think that's something that's what we're going to strive for. And then it's going to be who's got the better lineup of stuff. I think that's when you do a draft like this in the fantasy type draft. That's what you want to see. You want to see results. And I conceded last week because you won. It wasn't close. That being said, I have first pick this week. We're going to draft props from this movie, iconic. Props and memorabilia from this film, and just at the end, I don't know how many you want to do, because I have a list of 10 plus. We could go 5 picks each if you want.
I was gonna say we probably could go 5. That would be our biggest draft, right? We've never passed 4.
I don't think we've ever done more than 4 each. I'm down for 10 if we want to do it. I mean, I know that we're getting down there, but
I'm happy. Let's do it.
So I'm not even going to really hesitate with the first pick. I think we all know where I'm going with this. I'm going to go with I say Bruce Wayne's shoe. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm obviously going to go with Batman's suit. And I know that's tough. it's tough because he's got a lot of pieces and stuff on it, but I think
you get it. You get all
it's
of it.
it's hard to piece all that out.
You
Some
can.
accessories are off the suit, but I think the batarang, like that's part of
I
the
was
suit. Like how does that work?
100%.
That's part of the suit.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm
100%.
taking Batman's suit. That's really not. I really like the way that they did it in this one, and I know that
Mm.
every iteration they try to make him less and less stiff.
Mhm.
This thing was very. He can move around in it quite well, and I think even Robert Pattinson in production was like, I got to be able to move. Like obviously,
Mhm.
everybody wants to be able to move around. He wants to be able to just be functional and like that. But he was taking like full bullets, so many bullets. I don't know what that material was.
Yeah.
Bulletproof and flexible. I'm gonna need to
They
figure out
don't
what
go
that is.
together. Yeah, they don't go together very well.
They do in this movie though.
Yeah.
So I'll take Batman's suit, and that's an unquestioned number one pick. I don't have to harp on it too much.
No. Number 2, I'm gonna actually do. Oh, okay. Sorry. I looked at my note and I see number 2, and what's written there is not what I want. But then I realized I have this for myself, not as a group. Anyway, number 2 might can throw some people off, but I'm going back to my roots. I'm not going to go the normal route because in a movie like this, you would expect something. But number 2, I'm going the Batmobile.
That's it. I knew that was like obviously 100% that was going to get drafted, and I know that we've said for a long time you're the car guy. You
Yes,
haven't picked a car. No one's picked a car in
in
quite
a
a
long
while.
time.
So
Yeah,
this is if there was ever one to pick, the Batmobile in this one. And
so good.
this again falls under the like what year is it in
Yes.
Gotham category because it's like it does look like a 70s 80s style like car that's rigged with like new technology. So it's like I
Hmm.
really like that it looks like a vehicle that somebody could have just rigged together in the privacy of their bat cave.
And the best part is if you pay attention throughout the movie, like you see it disassembled in different stages throughout. Like you see the engine block up when he's watching the movie at one point. You see the car with a tarp on it in the background. Like he's working on this. I don't know how because he's never there.
Where's he got the time? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like but he's working on this throughout the movie and it's awesome.
Yeah, the car is really great, and I know there's like one really big chase scene
Yeah.
with the Penguin. Obviously, the Penguin's again. This is another like, what year is it? He's driving a Maserati, like a
Yeah.
new Maserati. You're like, what year is it in Gotham? It's ridiculous. But no, it was a really good chase scene. Obviously, the shots. It's very cinematic, very slow walker after that crash that
Yeah.
probably should have killed the Penguin. He flipped violently.
Yes.
That was the fastest I've seen any frame in the entire movie move. Was that car crash just flipping like crazy?
Yeah.
And then the walk up, obviously, yeah, it definitely added another couple minutes to the runtime, just the walk up. But that scene right there was the poster. Like that's it. Like where he's walking and the flames in the background.
Yeah.
The cape actually does something, I guess,
You
in that scene.
this?
Yeah, it's badass. That's really cool. I like that. So yeah, the Batmobile is really cool. I don't know if we're gonna see. I'm kind of hoping we see a progression of his
Yes.
technology and his
Yeah.
cars and his stuff like that in follow ups, right? Which
For
yeah,
like for us going back, like talking this being more of a detective Batman than superhero Batman, he didn't rely like obviously he used a lot of tech, but it was a lot of like he wasn't throwing his batarang 20 feet and having it returned to him. He used
yeah,
it as a knife. Like he had the most crazy things he had, I think, were his contact lenses, and that was it. Like
yeah.
he
Those
I
are
don't
very interesting. Which
I don't I don't
yeah,
think I remember seeing a whole lot of tech where I was like, this is outrageous.
no, and I think that's what's really cool is it felt like maybe some dude could do this. Like this
Yeah.
is something that could happen. I don't know. Okay, so second round pick. I have to come back now. You took the Batmobile, which was my second ranked. I think. I mean, it's awesome.
It's great. Yeah.
It's hard. You can't to have the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Period. At any iteration, you're like, I got the freaking Batmobile. That's awesome. I don't want to keep taking outfits, but I got to. Right? I
Okay.
got to.
Yeah.
I the Riddler's mask.
It was that was almost my number one pick.
It's
Yeah.
such a weird, like, what's going on with that thing? Like, it's just
I
like leather just pressed up against his face. Like, it's like, what is that? I don't know what's happening there.
so I originally had Riddler's mask written down, but then I had to take a step back because at one point he moves back and the whole outfit, he has his logo like on his chest. So you got to take
Yeah,
the
I guess
whole
I would say
thing.
the outfit. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was less impressed with the outfit, more so the mask, right? The mask was like, because you, and the videos that you see him in, he's never wearing it in person, really, right? You
yeah,
never see him in person with the mask on. It's only on video.
yeah.
So,
It just
yeah,
adds to it that he has that weird like question mark with the sigil on it. Like
yeah.
I like that whole outfit. So definitely yes.
Okay.
That's a good pick. That was almost my other one.
Well, yeah, I got the whole point of the movie. I could just put them next to each other, and then there you go. That's it. Like I'm done here. But you got the freaking Batmobile. So all right, it's your pick now. See where we're going.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't even feel like I'm at too much of a loss. I'm taking the bat signal.
Damn.
That
Damn, that's
was
underrated, bro. That's
It's
underrated.
underrated. That
That's an
thing looked
underrated pick.
crazy. The first time they showed Gordon next to it, I was like, "Damn, that looks nice." that big spotlight, that was looking nice. I'm very happy taking the bat signal in this
No,
one.
100%.
How low was that for you?
It
Was that
wasn't
your
very
low?
low. It was lower, but it was only because when I was ranking these, I got to like this point, right? And I was
Mhm.
like, everything could be on top of everything. And at that
Mhm.
point, it was just whatever. But the significance of the movie to this, with this, is amazing. Like it's used by Gordon, it's used by Batman to signal each other, and it's
Mhm.
also used by Catwoman
Why
to
does
to
why does no one ever go to the top of the, like why does no one
right.
ever trace
You
the
know where
bat
the
signal back?
if you wanted to get the Batman, right? Just go there, flick the freaking light on, and Batman comes to you. What is that? Like,
Yeah.
how have they not figured that out yet?
Like my wife and I, early on in our relationship, we used to have this thing where if we were like on our way home or something, and for some reason we saw a spotlight in the sky, we would just drive to it.
You got to know what's up. What is
No
happening?
matter where we were, no matter where in town we were in, where we grew up in New York, if we saw a spotlight, we would just drive to it to see where it was. Like I don't know, I can't believe no one found this bat, the bat signal.
Yeah, that's I guess you got to kind of suspend your disbelief there a little bit. It
Yeah.
is it's always that's a thing that could always be the case. And I don't know if a Batman. I'm sure there's been a Batman comic or a Batman, even maybe an animated series where they've done that, where like they use it as like a trap. That's had to be done at some point, where like the villain's like, just turn the light on, the idiot will show up,
Yeah.
and then probably beat you up. But yeah, I mean, if you want to fight with Batman, turn the signal on. But that's a great pick. I 100% approve that
Thank you.
selection. Huh, man. See, now it's like I have them all kind of ranked, but I don't love the order now, considering how this is going. I feel like I need some sort of means of transportation, and I'm gonna have to take his motorcycle.
It
I'm
was
gonna take. I don't know what you
I
call that. Is that the bat bike? What do you call that?
the bat cycle,
The
I
bat
believe.
cycle. All right, yeah,
I
I'll
believe
take
so.
Batman's
I
motorcycle.
I wanted to put that on my list, but I don't feel like I got a good look at it to see the details. Like I was watching the end of the movie, and I don't
Yeah.
know if I was looking at the wrong screen. It obviously looked like it was a souped up bike. I couldn't see what modifications were on it though.
Right, and you really only see like the headlight for like the majority of the movie, and then it's
Yeah.
just him driving on it. But at the end, whenever it's him and Selena
Yeah.
split, you see it. And it's like, oh, that's a thick bike. That thing's
Yes.
a little thicker than it should be. And I was like, all
Yes.
right, it's got some meat on it. I'll take it. That's definitely gonna be on my list. So yeah, and he rides that more than the vehicle, like more than the Batmobile. Like that's his main. It seemed like his main transportation was motorcycles. By the way, I've never seen more people riding motorcycles in the rain in my life. Like it's A,
Yeah.
always raining in Gotham, and B, everyone's like, great time to pull out the motorcycle. Like what?
That was actually number 2 on my movie notes.
Ugh,
Was I don't like being wet. Like if
no.
it's raining out, I hate it. The amount of people comfortable in that first fight scene, like the gang was beating up that guy and then Batman, the amount of people who just walk in the rain with no umbrella and just don't act like they're drenched and they're like, oh, this is normal. No. If I'm wet, I have this weird walk and I'm
Oh,
uncomfortable and I'm upset and I'm
yeah.
mad. And these
Especially
people
if
are
you're wearing
just,
like pants. Like,
yeah.
yeah, it's just like all this. Ugh. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gross.
the rain in Gotham was just too much, too much.
There's too much. Yeah, that paired with the mass flooding, like that, I don't know how that city ever recovers. But
Mhm.
I guess we'll find out in the future. All right, your round 3 selection right now. What do we got? Oh,
No,
do you know where
yeah,
you're going?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Look like you're
I
waffling.
feel good. I feel
All
good.
right,
No,
all
no,
right.
no.
No,
There's no
do your
sigh. There's
thing.
nothing.
Do your thing.
So something that to me added just a little bit of character development, and I felt like it was good because early on there was a relationship that seemed like there was a rift in it, or rift in it, and I
Hmm.
feel like it healed a little bit. I'm gonna take the Wayne cufflinks that
Oh,
Alfred
you dirty dog.
that Alfred gives to Bruce, because early on Bruce is being very much a he's not treating Alfred right. He pulls the "you're not my father" card and all this, and he's just rather abusive to Alfred. And then later on, you start to see that heal, especially when Alfred almost dies.
Right.
They kind of reconcile, and I feel like the cufflinks are a good. He was just like, my father, your father gave me these, and now I'm giving them to you.
I
And
really like Andy Serkis. I
yes,
don't. I was trying to figure out if he wasn't. I don't think he was the butler for his parents. Like the age range, I think he was more like a security guard. Like I think he was more like
hmm,
the protector. Like his way he says it. Like I was. It was my job to protect them. It's
yeah,
not. He wasn't. He's not the traditional Alfred Butler, right?
yeah.
Especially teaching him how to fight. Like there's some sort of background that we're not seeing from this Alfred, right?
And
Like
then I love that, like, he sees the ciphers. He doesn't even talk to Bruce the next
yeah.
morning. He's doing them during breakfast. He's
Like it's like
just
a
like,
crossword in the newspaper.
yeah,
He's like,
like,
hey, check it
this
out.
is Jeremy Irons was great, and I love Jeremy Irons, but this I loved this version of Alfred. This was a very good version of Alfred.
100%. Cufflinks were on my list, pretty high. I thought they're very significant to the film. It's obviously been passed down from Thomas Wayne, his father,
Hmm.
down to Alfred, which is pretty significant, and then Alfred is the bridge that gives him. It's like a beautiful moment that is kind of like brushed under the rug by how he's treated in that moment by
Yes,
Bruce Wayne. So, but yeah, like you said, it comes full circle when they have that little moment, and yeah, there's so much going on, and like it's trying to find significant value in
yes.
everything. That I feel like it's an heirloom. It's a family heirloom. So that's a good pick. That's a good pick. I'll give it to you.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh man, see now, yeah, here we go. I guess
Wait, was that it? Was that the patented sigh?
yeah, we're here to that point now because the
Okay.
thing is, they're not bad. They're not bad things, and this one I might be asking too much, and I need you to help me on this.
What?
I want Riddler's cards to Batman.
I have that on my list.
I want the
That's
cards. Can I have them all?
yeah,
Like
the
I couldn't pick out
postcards.
a specific one, but I want the cards that are to the Batman, little
Yeah, no,
hallmarks, special
that was
cards.
so I originally had written Riddler postcard, but then I forgot that there was like multiple. You could take,
Bro,
yeah, take
that
them as
was
a set.
there were so many. Like there had to be like four
Yeah.
or five by the end of the movie. By the time they just kept pulling them all together, but yeah, I think that those are like the driving force of the movie. Like
Yeah.
every time somebody gets murdered, they take that and that's how they get to the next step. And it's I don't know. I was really into it. I wasn't sure if I could wait on that any longer.
Hmm.
But I
You
needed to I wanted to secure the bag.
you were smart to take it.
Okay. All right.
I
All right.
don't think I would have taken it with this pick because I have them written high up. I don't think that I actually take them at all, to be honest.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
But that's not because they were bad by any means. It's
No, I
just
really
that,
like that. Like I'm trying to imagine him like like when you're getting a card for somebody and you're trying to figure out what to write in it, like I'm just trying to imagine the Riddler sitting down and being like, the Batman, how can I orchestrate this attack? But let me sign my name and like it's just I just trying to imagine him like making these cards, like printing them on his computer and then like like just writing in them is funny
yeah. All
because
right,
he's a
no.
psycho murderer.
Good, no, good pick. I respect that. Good
Okay.
pick.
This is by the okay, so yeah, you'll have two more picks. I'm about to be on my
Yes.
last pick. This is fourth round. Wait, I can't believe we're going five. This is crazy.
And we're doing it fast too.
It's good. I
It's
mean, we don't have a choice because we're about to an hour on the podcast, so we
yeah.
we want everybody to
So
have a day.
this is where I'm moving a little bit away. Like, there is some significance to this item, but this is just something that I thought looked cool at this point. I want the neck bomb that was on Coulson.
The
Uh
what?
the neck bomb. So he takes Coulson, he was like the DA, and he puts a neck bomb on the DA and he covers his mouth up and he has the phone taped to his hand. And he has it looks very much like it was from the movie Saw. Like, so he has this metal rig set up and he has the timer on his neck and it blows up on the Batman later on.
Yeah. First off, you're disgusting for picking this. Second off, no, it is like it's a very intricate rigging.
Yeah. It was,
And
and I know it probably wasn't on your list. It's just genuinely, I liked
I
it. Yeah.
wasn't sure. Like I wasn't sure whether or not to write those down because those traps. It's like obviously that's like his mo is like to do these this weird things, and like there was a few of them.
Yeah.
I didn't know which one to write down. That was probably the most significant one because it got screen time. Obviously, he crashes into that church, and they're all there, and it's like that scene where he'd rather just die.
Yes.
That's when you
That's
knew like,
crazy.
oh crap, like there's something massive going on right now.
Yeah. So and now that you say that, that was a significant moment to me. It felt like of my items, it had the least significance, but that was a
No,
turning
that's
point
pretty
for the
big.
movie. Yeah.
That's when like when Bruce Wayne's like, what the hell? Like he would rather but
Yeah.
and then yeah, like you have Batman completely unconscious. Nobody
I
takes his
was
mask off, bro. What is
that
that?
that is
That-
that's one of my notes. I've written down, why did it take so long? Because you hear the cop say, "Let's just take his mask off and then grab it." He was easily out for like 45 minutes to an
to get
hour.
yeah, to relocate him. Yeah. Oh
Why
my god, they
wasn't
have
the
so many opportunities.
why
And you
wasn't the
got to
first
think
thing take it off?
yeah, you got to think Commissioner Gordon was there slapping hands, right? Like
Yeah.
slapping hands away. Like no, don't do it. No, don't do it. But
Hmm.
even him was probably like, who is this dude? Like you had a chance right there to just
Yeah.
be like, Pixie, who is this?
There's so many moments in this movie he could have been demasked, and for some reason Gotham now is filled with the most trustful people. Like,
Yeah,
what?
that's awfully sweet of them. Yeah, 100%. That was weird, but I guess kudos to them. A little self control. I don't know. That's a good pick though. Okay, so last pick. This is when it gets weird because I have a list of a top 10, but I have like 15, 20 things on this list total,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what? There's so much going to be left off the table, and I don't know. I don't know
There,
exactly where
this
to go.
so we went into this movie not thinking there was going to be a lot of good picks, and then I came out like, holy crap! Like, I am shocked at how many actual physical props there were in a movie from this decade.
True. Yeah, and I guess there wasn't a whole lot of CGI. Like this is
Yeah,
other than like probably like explosions and stuff like that, but yeah, I mean it is crazy nowadays, especially when you think like MCU, like what is even real in the MCU anymore? Like
yeah,
it's tough to see like physical props. It's probably just a green stick that they're holding. You know what I mean? Like what
yeah.
is that? Um all right, last pick. I feel like I kind of got to do this now. It kind of falls in. Oh man, there's two. Okay, Woo,
Oh
it
man.
sucks. It
Whew.
sucks. I don't. I mean,
Do the sigh. Do the sigh.
all right. I think I have to. I have to do this because I'm just gonna get the. It's a trifecta. I'm just gonna get the whole
Mm,
shebang. I'm gonna take Catwoman's outfit.
I
The
really thought that that was gonna fall. Like, I was reading you, and I didn't think you would want three suits.
I
So I
don't
was,
want three suits, but now I mean, thinking about how I've got the whole collection. I mean, like, how could I not? Right? Like,
yeah. And that might push you above me on this pick. I thought, reading the room, I was like, all right, psychology wise, Doyle isn't picking three suits, so I'm gonna let this fall because I can get a number one pick in the fifth
hmm,
round, and
hmm.
I'd be fine.
Nah,
Like,
man. I'm hoarding. I'm hoarding suits. I think no, Catwoman's suit is very interesting. I don't know what was going on with like the weird headpiece thing. That was very strange. Just barely
yes,
enough to cover the tip of the nose. Like I was what is that? What's going on
yeah.
there?
It
Very
was weird,
strange.
but a little detail that I didn't catch until the last 3 minutes of the movie. She had enhanced nails
Oh yeah,
on the
those things.
gloves,
Yeah.
so I liked that. I didn't notice that until the end of the movie that she had like
And she
claws
didn't
on
really like
her.
slash anybody. You know what I mean?
No,
Like Catwoman, you expect just to get somebody to get slashed up. There was no
yeah,
slashing going on. Maybe that's coming in a future movie if she shows up again. I would imagine that the way that they parted and he's looking in the rear view and she's going away. If they go 3 movies, she's coming back. She'll be back at some
100%.
point. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no scenario where she doesn't come back. And it's weird. Like that was like that was one of the closest Batman relationships you're gonna get, right? Like for the character Batman to like actually like you could tell he kind of liked her. Like
yeah,
that was weird for him to be able to just like you got to separate obviously what you're there to do in Gotham with what your body's telling you you may want.
okay,
Anyway,
okay.
anyway, no. What I'm saying is, yeah, I'll take the Catwoman suit, and that's I'm gonna just be happy with what I got there. I think that's a good last pick.
So I have three things that I genuinely think are good picks. if I'm going, all of them would be awesome props, and I know you like all of them just because I know how you are.
Hmm.
But if I'm gonna order them in significance, um, hmm,
Look at you. Look at the
yeah.
gears
Now
turning.
and the thing is, at this point, I'm happy with my draft. I don't think
Yeah.
this kills me at any point or in any way, and I know I'm not leaving anything on the table for you because you're done. So I'm pretty comfortable.
Yeah, you're
It's
sitting
just,
good.
what do I want to display? Like what would I feel like? Ah, this is awesome.
There's one
Uh,
here that I'm like actually kind of shocked hasn't been picked.
and I think that's one of the two I'm between right now.
Okay.
I think the last thing, just because of who I am as a person, I'm gonna take the Riddler cipher, the first one that pops
Really?
up, the sheet of
Okay.
paper with the cipher. I very much like puzzles. I like ciphers and stuff like that. I like cryptography,
Yeah.
so I think I'm gonna take the Riddler cipher. Um,
That was not on my list
mhm.
because it was a sheet of paper, right? Like
Yeah,
obviously I don't know. It's significant, like you said. It's you see Alfred messing with it and trying to figure it out. Like that's
yeah,
obviously a big deal, and it's crucial to the movie. Then when they just and then they decide to just upload it to the computer, right? And they're like,
yeah.
yeah, just let the computer do the thing.
So the thing I was choosing between, let me
Yeah,
see if
go
this
for
is
it.
you were talking about the Tucker.
That was on my list. Yeah, that was I think the next available as far as ranked. Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought it was literally at the beginning. I thought it was a bat with like a chisel at the end of it, so I'd been
yeah,
calling it a chisel. Uh, but yeah, at the end, obviously, very convenient for Batman when he's in there. The guy just happens to know his flooring utensils, which
hmm,
yeah, that cop, one of my favorite. He's got to be one of my favorite characters in the movie. He was just pretty cool, like all throughout. He was like fanboying over Bruce Wayne and everything,
hmm.
and it just kind of comes full circle at the end. He's with Batman, but I don't know. Maybe there's a bigger role for him in future movies too. But there's not a lot of good cops in this movie. He was one of them.
No,
So
yes,
um, no, one that I didn't think I thought for sure would get drafted, and it was pretty high on my list. The grapple gun. It's Batman's
I
freaking grapple gun,
he used it and I forgot to write it down. He used it and I was like, oh, I have to write that down. And you just said it. It's not on my list.
bro. He used it like multiple
Oh
times.
my god,
Yeah, what is happening?
I
That's
did. He used it, and I went to write it down, but I guess I
mm.
was doing something else at the same time because I remember the point. It was when he used it and jumped through the window and rolled because he, for some
Oh
reason, couldn't
yeah,
stand up. He just
yeah,
rolled real hard. I was like, "Oh, the grapple gun." I forgot about that.
yeah.
I didn't write it down, so I forgot about it.
That's a
Holy
rookie. That's a
cow!
rookie move. Rookie move. But no, just now that you know, you're probably wondering why I didn't pick it, right? It's like
Yeah, why
what is that?
didn't you?
I don't know, man. I just wanted that. I wanted that third suit. I needed them all. I don't know. I just was maybe I was trying to help you out. Maybe I was trying to give you a little freebie, but
I forgot.
no, I already have the bat suit. So like, I mean, sure. I just felt like I wanted to go the other way. I thought the
Yep.
cards, like if given the choice outside of the suit and the motorcycle, because I wanted the motorcycle for sure. I'll take the suits, the motorcycle. The only thing that I would have considered it up against would be the Riddler's cards, and I still think the Riddler's cards are cooler
Yeah.
than you've seen it. It's just a regular little grapple. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like the
So
'90s where the '90s movies where it like literally has a Batman logo and it's like all shiny and like it doesn't look like a real thing that should exist, right?
yeah.
But
So
yeah,
you say that the cipher is just a sheet of paper, but so are the postcards.
that's different. All right, they're Hallmark
How?
cards. Okay, they're
Oh, okay.
cards. All
Let's
right.
see. The
Plus, there's
rid.
like envelopes, right? I mean, it's not. I guess I say it's a sheet of paper, but it's a picture, right? It's a picture of something.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So, yeah, I mean, sure, the cards are paper, but those are like the points in the movie where the plot is progressed. Like, I don't know.
Yes,
That's why I feel like
they
that's
are.
significant. Not that the cipher isn't. I'm not poo-pooing your
No, no.
cipher.
I know. I know.
I'm just like comparatively, I'll take these pieces of paper over your piece of paper. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
That's
trying
that's where I'm
to.
at.
I'm trying to. There isn't like a good picture of the cipher.
Right. It was like a scan or like it was like a printing of the thing he saw in his little contact lens, which by the way, was that draftable? A contact lens? I don't know.
I had it written down,
I
but
don't
I
know. It's
wasn't
weird.
sure.
Like,
Yeah.
how would that look? Here's a contact lens. Okay. I don't know. But that
Because
technology, GoPro's shaking in their boots right now
it
watching this
had
movie.
like little like things on it. It had
Right.
like wiring on it.
But
So
I
it
got to
was.
think that that was probably like done in After Effects or something. Like, I don't think that was like I don't know.
It
That's tough.
might have been.
It's tough. I mean, without talking to the people who created some of the props, we'll have to see. Maybe we'll be doing a little more of that in the future. But I don't know. That's something we're gonna have to dive a little more into to get into the psyche of these prop designers and figure out what's going on. Like with the suit, like imagine talking to somebody who helped design this Batman suit. Like that's one of the most iconic
Yeah.
roles as like a designer, like a costume designer. Imagine being like you're the one to design the suit. Like that's
Yeah.
like poop your pants type stuff. Like that's
I wonder
crazy.
if they reach out to multiple people and then pick the best designer. They take one person and just say, "Give us
Imagine
everything
they
you
do.
can think of."
Imagine they just open it up to fans. They're like fan design contest. Submit it and see what happens. I'd be curious to see what comes up. I mean, like that'd be kind of cool to watch. But
Yeah.
oh man, this was a long one. I don't
Yes, it
know.
was.
I mean, obviously we could have gone even longer if we talked as slow and moved as slowly as the people did in this Batman movie. But I think we
Oh,
kept
are
it.
you not going to go down your other potentials?
Oh, I mean, I can. Yeah, I guess we should do that real quick before we get out of here. I wrote down Batman's journals, like you said, where he's
I did.
recounting the night.
Hmm.
Every time you could tell he had like files and files of just writing down what happened on a given night, which is pretty crazy to me. The thumb drive,
I had that.
complete with the thumb, right? I
Yes.
wanted like the fake thumb, like the dead. Obviously, it's not a real person's thumb, but yeah, the thumb drive with the thumb on it would be kind of pretty cool. Grapple gun, like I said, couldn't believe it went undrafted. I don't know. That's crazy. I wrote down the drops packs, like the drug packs. I thought they
I
were in
did
like
too.
little
They were
fun baggies with little faces on it. I thought that was like literally the most colorful thing in the entire movie. Every time it popped up on screen, I was like, I didn't know the cameras that they had used could even pick that
yeah,
color
they
up.
had
Like,
green. What?
yeah, what? Yeah, it was really weird. That's the only time you saw like yellow and you know what I mean. Like just those
Yeah.
colors didn't show up the entire movie until the little drug packet popped up. Penguin's deep purple suit at the scene where they brought Carmine Falcone into the light, the
Okay.
rat into the light. It happened so quickly, but that scene where he's standing on the top step and they're
Hmm.
talking and he starts running his mouth. He's like, "Gotcha, it's my suit. He knows, schlub." That suit he's got on, pretty sweet. I wish he was wearing it more, but in that lighting, whereas
Yeah.
most light we probably got in the entire movie. Again, like I said, it looked pretty cool. That deep purple, like it was. I would wear that. I mean, granted, I'm not that big, but it looked pretty sweet.
Oh, you meant the exact one. Okay, got it.
Oh yeah, I would take it and I'd tailor it.
Okay.
I'd ruin the sanctity of the prop, and it would be like, no, it's not even a movie prop anymore. It's my suit
Oh,
that I'm
okay.
gonna wear. And like you said, the murder weapon, the chisel, like, that
Tucker.
was yeah, the Tucker. I keep saying I wrote down chisel. But at the end they say it's a Tucker, and I'm like, I'm not gonna go back and edit that. Yep. Oh, and I also wrote down the Riddler's Arkham Asylum, or it's Arkham Hospital, not an asylum,
Mhm.
but Arkham Hospital. His outfit where they're in the room and they're chatting.
You like outfits.
I mean, it's a superhero movie, right? It's like, and it literally said Arkham Hospital on it, so it's like for sure where that's from. I thought that it's cool. I did go a little heavy. Like imagine doing like the Avengers, right? What are you not
Mhm.
going to pick Captain America's outfit? You're not going to pick Iron Man's suit. Like
True, true,
that's what
true.
defines them. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I went a little heavy on that this episode. So yeah, did you have any leftovers? Anything egregious that we left off?
So,
So no.
Ani's passport.
Okay, passport. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Ani's
fair.
passport. The squirrel suit because I figured that was a little different than the bat suit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he put something else on, a little oversuit to get
Yeah,
some wingage.
and something we talked about before the movie, the Riddler's coffee, the coffee with the question mark in it,
Yes,
because I
yes.
feel like that genuinely was a prop.
You don't think that was just a liquid? I mean, like baristas can do that. They can do that little design. You think
But
that
it eventually dissolves.
that's fair? Just do
They
it again. They
didn't.
got a little barista right there
They
over the counter,
didn't.
man. Do it.
And we said this before. They did not make 7 of those for each time they reshot the film. Like I'm convinced it was just like they do for advertisement for like McDonald's and stuff. It looked like food. It looked like a drink, but it was something not drinkable,
Right.
and
Okay.
they just had the question mark in it. So that felt like a prop.
That's fair. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you on that. But I know no one picking a cup though. I know that we weren't gonna with all this other
No.
stuff in the film that we're just no way we were gonna go back and pick a cup. But I don't know what we have planned for the future episodes. We've got together. We're going back to our selections. We've got some juicy ones on our list we want to get back to. Not that we didn't have fun diving into Superbad and the Batman, but we're going back to a couple movies that hit a little closer to home for us. But we're gonna get into. I think, like we said, we've been saying this, I feel like, for a little while. But we're gonna dive. We're planning a little farther out. We're gonna go a little farther ahead, and we're gonna try to get some more guests on moving forward. So we're excited about that. And I guess we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Tyler, you got anything else
flop?
on the old flippity floop?
Well, I just want to thank anyone who's been here the whole year, because we were coming up on a year on
Oh
release.
yeah, that's just sweet.
Yeah, we're coming up on a year. I can't believe we can still tolerate each other. Thank
true.
you guys for tolerating us. And yeah, we've got exciting things we're trying to work on. So just be patient.
Yes. All right. We appreciate you guys. We hope you appreciate these episodes, and we appreciate you appreciating us. Much appreciated.
Please stop saying appreciate.
Okay,
You just
no,
ruined the word.
Thank you guys so much. At Movie Propcast on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, and you can watch full episodes. Like you said, I mean, if you wanted to watch our faces, you wanted to see Tyler's sweet backgrounds, they change every episode. You can check them out on our YouTube channel, the Movie Propcast. Please hit us with a subscription. There are bigger plans for our YouTube channel. We'll be doing a little more exclusive content for that too, as well. So we'll see you guys down the line on the next episode.
I love you guys.
Wow, that was pretty forward. Whoa,
it was, dude. We're coming up on a year.
You said all three. I love you. Wow.
Yeah, love you guys.
Much loves. Bye.